So this is another angle of the Taipei Performing Arts by OMA. This is from the Mingchuan University bus stop. So you can see how iconic this building is. Looks like the Death Star just landed on Taipei. So you have the MRT, the elevated MRT concourse with a very iconic cable design, and then you have that globe. So let's hope that I'll be able to enter the museum. I'm not sure if this is an underpass, so let's check it out. Oh yeah, it is on the underpass. So look at that. So interestingly, as we are crossing the underpass going to the Performing Arts Center, there are some perforated panels and it has lighting behind it. Bakit ko to mini-mention, or why am I pointing this out, is because OMA is known for this kind of architectural treatment. He likes to elevate unfinished industrial materials to an architectural statement. So look how it looks like. Check out how it appears, or how it elevates the space. And very industrial, and yet there's something chic about its character. So normally you just have those tiles in us. So I think I don't know if this was the designer's intention, but definitely this is part of the material palette of the Taipei Performing Arts Center that we are visiting. So again, I'm sorry if I'm mumbling because I'm not allowed to take off my mask. But as it is, I'm not wearing it properly. So this is a bad example. So I'm glad that we were able to discover. Oh wow, look at the tiling. It has some patterns on it. Well, there's another way that stems out of this space. And we are going up. Wow. So I guess you have a very rough finish of the ceiling of the underpass with just fluorescent lamps. And you can see the corrugated glass already. And I must say that this is a pretty common material. I saw this in his Prada Museum in Milan, this corrugated glass. And now we are underneath the Death Star. Wow, this is massive, guys. And that is the MRT. And you have this big open space that functions as a performing area as well, because this acts as a roofing, and that small platform is a mini stage. And you can see the structural here, the diagonal bracing and the vertical support. This is the blue space, blue theater rather, and this is the, I forgot what it's called, but this is the blue space. Let's get the guide again, and you can see that it's a tourist spot. And we will try to access the public loop later on. So check out the aluminum panels and then the corrugated glass. From afar, it looks like it's just acrylic plastic or plastic, but it's actually glass. I also saw this in his Porto, the opera house, or the music, the Porto, the Casa de Musica, also by OMA. He has some areas there that has that material. And then I would guess that is also aluminum panel, the material, the cladding. And then you have a wire mesh for the fire exit. And like I said, OMA likes to elevate industrial materials. And then you have a stripe flooring to create that additional dimension. Some informal playground. And this is the Grand Theater. We are under the Grand Theater. That reminds me of the school that I'm teaching in, SDA, because it has an overhang not as huge as this. And then there's some window, a fixed window there. And then this is a nice spiraling. This is car park, I think. And this material is concrete. Yeah, I can feel the texture. And then you can see this very industrial mesh that's wrapping around the ramp, I think. And you can see, since you have a very strong design statement already, the pipings are okay to be exposed. So you have some, I would imagine that is aluminum panel. See, you have those technical stuff, mechanical stuff happening. This is the aluminum panel. So now it's poetically done with that wire mesh. This is one entrance. This is gate 2, because OMA imagined this to be an open piazza again, common theme among modernists. And this is also an informal gathering space, performance stage for the public to enjoy. So again, it's our goal to make our buildings, architecture, more democratic. And you have some, oh, this is just a sticker on the glass. This is another entrance to the hall 1. So there's an elevator, and you can see the ceiling, an exposed flooring. I forgot the terminology, the technical term for that. But let's have a view of the outside from this angle, because normally if you're coming from the MRT, this is how you will approach the building. I'm really loving how this is treated, and you can see that it's already rusting. And then you can see some junk, which I guess is okay. See the rust already, but it's still beautifully aging. And this was opened just recently, maybe not more than 5 years ago. So Taiwan, or Taipei, is having a cultural renaissance. So look at that. So a lot of people, even locals, are having selfies. So this is one theater, this is another theater. So try to imagine that this box is consolidating all of the theaters. You know that behind this is another theater called the Blue Theater for experimental performances. This is the biggest theater of them all, and this is a theater that has a proscenium arc that creates a nice, unique framing for the performances, but this can only sit a certain number of audiences. So this is the bracing for this. Again, all corrugated glass, corrugated panels, and then you have those flooring as aluminum panels. And this is where the lobby, the ticketing, the support areas, and the backstage areas are. So try to imagine that the Grand Theater can be combined with the Blue Theater on the other side. So we are going to check it out later. So, so that's where we came from. That's the underpass. So I love how integrated this cultural piece in the fabric of the city. And while we are not aware, people are actually becoming part of the architectural performance of the building as we go through or around it. Right now it functions as a landmark because it's still new, but I'm curious if given the chance that we can come back here and check out if the role of this building is still fulfilling, fulfilling the concept that OMA introduced. So this is the informal stage that I was talking about. It's just that it's a question if, it's called the micro stage. And just not sure how this will function, maybe just for opening of an exhibition, but this structural is definitely blocking the view. And this one, there's a very striking entrance. This is the public loop that allows the public to see the backstage areas and see the workings of the theater. And then they created the loop around it. You see very industrial ceiling. And then, that's the globe is called the Globe Playhouse. And their idea is that like a planet that sort of landed on the box. And then you can see the emergency staircase, very industrial, but together with this entire building, it looks so chic. Diba? So in combination with nice EGDs, look at that, so modern. And then you have glass, and then you have the stainless plating, and then you have this wire mesh. Everything works well. Nice EGD again. And so if you're allowed to enter public loop entrance, the whole route takes about 30 minutes. So maybe we can try it out later. So this is the ticketing area. So this is the common area that binds all the three theaters together. And then again, the ceiling is just very industrial. And then you have a very strong statement of a staircase going to what space? Probably the main theater. And then you can see those wire mesh again. And the wire mesh hiding the light fixtures and the mechanical components. And again, I can see the same material treatment that OMA used for Prada. So I love, they just concrete and then you just have the cut out material. And then you have perforated again with the EGD. So this is what I was pointing out. Behind the signage, you can see how OMA, a master of materiality, elevated the plywood with the palitada or the plastering, unfinished, and then with the wire mesh with some lighting, it becomes very nicely done, creating a very chic look. So this is a very small space. This is about it. That's the coffee shop, that's the theater, and this is the information, and that's the locker area. And this is where we came from. So there's a PWD elevator over here, and this is the locker area, and this is the spiral staircase that we came from. Again, this is the underside of the Grand Theater. And you can see the structural happening here. And a nice ticketing station. Okay, this is a pretty interesting treatment. Normally, this will come out as cheesy or badui, but here it really works well because of the industrial theme, surroundings. And of course, these are just temporary. So, and then this is the coffee shop by Verge. And just open, probably part of the lobby. And then we can check out this side. This is the side of the Blue Theater, and you can see some people probably dancing. There's a ramp. I'm still not sure if it's for vehicles or for people. So, but it was also envisioned that people will be performing outside. So all the formal theaters are elevated, and the informal setting, the piazza, is on the ground floor. So, so some perforations happening here, and I would say, although it's just my observation, that OMA is a master of montage. I've seen his books, and if I'm going to have a layman interpretation of his ideas, he creates these montages, urban montages, celebrating urban life, the diversity of our culture, etc. And then he creates this well-composed montages into architecture. That's why he's into materials, probably. So it doesn't matter to him. Doesn't matter if to them, OMA for that matter, that they're using some materials that are unexpected, that are usually finished or covered. So this is the entrance. So there's another entrance there. This is cut across by this vertical, escalator, grand escalator, and this is the staircase. And as you can see, the flooring, the color flooring, goes all the way out. It radiates all the way out. And then this is concrete with the concrete flooring, steps with ano ba to? Aluminum panel on the vertical side. So this is the second floor. And then you can see the unfinished walls. Well, it's finished now, but for the regular construction, this is unfinished. And this is going to the foyer of the blue box for experimental performances. And now this box is highlighted by that what you'd normally call cheesy material, but it works well here. So I was right. It is actually a ramp for vehicles. So that is a drop-off point for the theater. Now that we're here, we see the signage of the taxi. We can see it's a drop-off point. It's for vehicles. Like that. Goes around like that. So this is an arrival experience. So this is a family restroom. I like the AGD. It's cute. And I think there's a performance now. That's why there are some people around. And if you look at the plan, you see a lot of stairs because a theater needs to have a receiving area. And this is one way to sort of create that receiving area, but at the same time managing the floor heights, because they play a lot of levels in this design, because you have a dome-like structure over here, and this is the entrance going to the Globe Playhouse, very dramatic. Like this, remember when I said OMA creating a montage. So basically those are patches of ideas. So you have Globe, and then the Blue Theater, and then the Grand Theater. And how I imagine it to be combined, I'm still not sure. I have a feeling that if this is the Grand Theater, this is the combination of it. This is the main stage, and that is the Blue Playhouse, and then that's the Grand Theater. And this is a nice receiving area, and there's some bookstore there. There's a bookstore here, and this is the entrance for the Grand Theater. So nice stone flooring. I'm sure this is very expensive, and people are just hanging out, even though they're not going to watch. I mean, this is, like I said, a public space and introducing the local to culture, even though they're not watching, but at the same time, they are surrounded by culture and the arts. Again, very industrial. Then, of course, unless you have a ticket, we cannot really go inside, and you see how high it is. And I want to see, again, concrete flooring, diagonal brazing. There you go. You can see how big the globe is. And then as it intersects with this volume, it has this proscenium. Like, try to imagine an arc proscenium like that, intersecting with this cube. So the cube is the receiving area with the backstage area. This is the best place you can see that interaction. Blue Playhouse for experimental theater, the main theater, and this is the backstage area. And then if they want to combine it so that they can accommodate 2,000 plus audience, they just combine these two theater above. This one they cannot combine. It's just a very special theater for something. So we try to go down. Oh wait, maybe I should show you the bookstore. And it will be nice to see somehow, although we don't have access to the Globe Playhouse. And this is the informal bookstore. So just like they design it like you're in a bazaar, outdoor bazaar, with the view of, I think that's a university. This area is called the Shilin Market. This is where the famous night market is held. So how I wish we have something like this in the Philippines that has a very modern sensibility of public space and public building. That's about culture. It's about arts, because in the Philippines, when we talk about arts and culture, it's already elitist. But here, they try to bring it to the public using architecture. And of course, they spend so much for this architecture, for this building. I can imagine how much they spent for this. So let's check out the toilet. Wait a minute. Maybe we're missing something. So this is for the experimental area, the foyer area. It's interesting that this area is a dead space, and yet the stairs stretches to this side. But you can access the foyer through here. Again, beautiful mesh, creating that nice veil of wall that sort of gives you a dramatic view of the different spaces. How this level is different from that level, and this is the transition area, and the veil sort of creates that blurred transition. So I forgot. I want to correct myself. The public loop is not the access for the theater, but this is the public loop. This black thing is the public loop. So we will try to access it, but I might not be able to use my GoPro because it's the backstage area. So we'll see. I might just use my phone. So one last look in the interior, because this is the only accessible area for the public, unless you have a ticket to the performances. So this is the toilet. Okay. So you have a stainless steel cubicle, nice EGD. Just a very typical bathroom with the black tiles. Unfortunately, we cannot access this to allow us to see the behind the scene of a performance performance. So I will just try to access the restaurant, although we're not eating because I just had lunch. So we're back here, and they have a very, it's not an obvious access to the restaurant, but you access it through here. So I guess this is like a lobby, an elevated lobby, and it still serves as underside of the main theater. So Blue Playhouse, foyer, Blue Playhouse, and that's all theaters. Wait a minute. Anyway, we'll just try to access it. Okay, look at the elevator. The other elevator is actually, this is all stainless, nice EJD again. This is all red, which is kind of creepy if you're not in a culture artsy place, but this works well here in this kind of typology, because the other one I remember is blue, has blue light. I don't know the meaning of the lighting area, but oh yeah, this is the restaurant. So let's just take a peek. So that is the globe. You can see from the other side. And this restaurant doesn't have a grand entrance. It's called the Acme Cafe Bar Restaurant. So people are lining up, but you can see that this is a really nicely designed restaurant. Unfortunately, we're not eating there. So we'll try to access the other floors until people stop us. See, I was telling you that the other side, the other elevator has a different color. Unfortunately, the other floors are not accessible. We have no choice but to go back down. Again, perforated steel with blue lighting. So we just came from there, and here I'm going to explain, since I don't think I can get a CAD file of the floor plan. We're here looking at the brochure, and OMA's concept is like a 3-in-1 pot that is a common dish that you'll find in Taiwan night markets. So this is the consolidated volume, and these are the three theaters. Above it are the three theaters. So basically, this is the ground area where we are. This is the micro stage. This is where I'm seated now. So this is how it looks like. And then above it is the bookstore, the piazza, and then the big staircase. And then the Grand Theater, the Globe Playhouse, which has a nice proscenium arc, and then the blue box foyer, and above it are the theaters already. Okay, it looks simple as a plan, but it has a very complex architecture played by different geometries to create that different experiences. And again, a nice montage of materials to create that probably this is the best example of an architecture done by OMA that has that idea, the montages, the collages of experiences. So you can see it from the different shapes and different materiality and the randomness of the elements, circulation, structural, etc. And for the untrained eye, it's just basically a play of shapes, but you know that there was an idea behind it now that we experience it ourselves. So I guess that's about it. And I hope that you enjoy my tour of this building, and I hope to see you soon.